Hey everybody, let's do a Hawaiian shirt design, right? So I think you might be thinking about summer a little bit. Okay, it's getting warmer. It's springtime now when I'm doing this video, but I don't know, you could be watching this and it could be the middle of winter. So I don't know, think about warm weather, okay? And we'll do a Hawaiian shirt design. So it's going to end up something like this, but let me take you through the steps and we'll see what we can do. Alright, so this piece of paper is pretty big. It's 15 inches by 12 inches. This is what we would use at school to do this design, but you can use any size piece of paper you want, okay? And it'll work mostly the same way, but it's got to be kind of in these proportions a little bit, okay? It's close to a square, but it's a little bit wider. So a regular sheet of paper will probably work fine. You just get a smaller shirt out of the deal than this large one that we're going to have. So what I'm going to do is usually just fold this in half, and then we're going to go ahead and make a design template for the t-shirt. So depending on the age of the kids doing this project, I might actually just give them a template to trace, but this is set up for a 4th grade project, so I think you guys can probably handle it on your own. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a little scoop here for the collar, and then we're going to go all the way to the very edge of the paper, and then we need to make this kind of a square shape, okay? So you need to think of it sort of like right angles, right? This is a right angle and this is a right angle, so this is square for the sleeve. And then this part is going to go down and be about halfway between that part and that part. Make sure that your spine is here on the left side if you want this to turn out the right way, okay? So let's do this. So we're going to make this kind of scooping shape here, and then I make this kind of soft. You don't want it to be super sharp, so it's going to be kind of rounded down, and then we're going to make that square shape, okay? And then we're going to make sure that this goes down here and is about halfway between these two parts here. It doesn't really matter. I mean, you can make this a little bit different, but if you go too far in, then your shirt will be really skinny. If you're way out here, it'll be really wide, but I suppose shirts come in many different sizes for a reason. So we can go with that, okay? So once we have that, then what you want to do is keep this part here, because we can use that for making our tracing templates. So you might want to turn those into rectangles and save those when you cut everything out, okay? So what we're going to do then is we're going to go ahead and cut out this t-shirt template. And what I mean by saving those pieces is go ahead and cut those parts there, and then save those, and then you'll have those for using on this next part, okay? So what we want to do now is start thinking about a design motif for the Hawaiian shirt. So a lot of times those Hawaiian shirts are going to have some kind of floral pattern, a flower pattern, or some type of organic pattern like leaves or palm trees or things like that. But there's a lot of things you can do if you want to keep it with sort of the island summer Hawaiian theme. So think about what kinds of things you can make, and then you're going to draw that shape, right? So like I can draw the contour line of the palm tree, okay? So I can draw it like this if I want to, so that I just have the contour, or I can draw everything, but what I want for the design motif is just a contour line drawing. So some people will do like the pineapple, right? And they'll have this pineapple shape, and you can have that be the shape, okay? And you can have those little spiky pieces here, and it's kind of complicated, but the line that we're dealing with is actually called the contour line. It's just the outline of the shape, and we're going to have a silhouette of the shape. So, I mean, I guess you can draw all the details you want in here, but that's not really part of what we're doing here. So think about what you want your design to be. So I can construct a flower this way where I draw all 5 petals in the center there, but again, the contour line is really what we're going to end up with when we cut this out. So think about what you want your design motif to be. Make 2 or 3 shapes, that'll be fine. And then we're going to go ahead and cut those shapes out, and then we'll start transferring them onto the shirt. Okay, so here we go. I'll go ahead and cut these out because I don't think you really want to watch me do that. Alright, cool. So we got those cut out. So now we're ready to transfer them onto our shirt. Now they don't just have to be Hawaiian themed things or tropical themed things. You can come up with anything you want. I guess if you want to have Xbox controllers all over your shirt and make it into a Fortnite shirt, that's fine. I don't know. Is Fortnite still a thing? You could be watching this 10 years from the time that I made the video, so Fortnite might be some kind of retro game by then. Alright, so anyway, what you're going to do is take these shapes and trace them onto your shirt. So what you want to do is just spread them out around the shirt. So I might put one here, okay, and I might put one here. And they don't have to be all the way on the shirt. In fact, it actually usually looks better if you have places where only part of the shape is showing, okay? So I'm pushing a little bit harder with my pencil and putting some more pressure on it than I probably would like you to do. You would really want to put these on lightly so that they don't interfere with the coloring part on the next part. So for now, we're just gonna put these around the entire shirt. Depending on how many you have, okay, they'll have some differences, okay? And then you need to decide which thing is going to overlap which. So if the flower is going to be on the front, you might do that first, but if you want the palm tree to be on the front, you could do that. You can always change your mind later, so, but it's kind of cool if the things overlap each other a little bit. So I'll have the palm tree overlapping this one. If I stop my line right here, then it'll look like the palm tree is behind the flower, okay? If I put the line here and go over the top of the flower, then they're sort of intersecting and we can make the palm tree look like it's overlapping or is on top of the flower shape, okay? And you can decide which one is which by taking your eraser and erasing. That's another reason you want to do these lines lightly so that you can easily erase and make one part be on top of or below the other one, okay? So we could flip this upside down here and we could have the palm tree facing downwards too. Nobody says that all of them have to be facing the correct direction, okay? So we got 3 of those there, and then we'll add this one over here to the side. So if you just do 2 shapes, no big deal. If you want to have 3 shapes like I'm doing here, that's okay too. So let's put the pineapple in here. And I wouldn't worry if everything is traced perfectly. This is handmade, so we're not super concerned that everything is completely exact, okay? Although if you are really concerned about those kind of things, then by all means spend your time making sure that they are as exact as you want them to be. Okay, so let me add a few more, and then we'll talk about adding some color. Okay, so we've got those all ready to go. If you want to learn something new before you start thinking about colors, then look up color schemes, right? Okay, so look up a color scheme and look up the word monochromatic color scheme and figure out what that means. And complementary color scheme, and triadic color scheme, and analogous color scheme, and see what those different things mean. Okay, I'll give you a hint. Monochromatic means one color, okay, plus all the shades and tints. Complementary colors are opposite each other on the color wheel. Triadic are three colors that are equally spaced, okay, like the primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, or the secondary colors, orange, green, and purple. Analogous colors, they're next to each other, okay? But Google those things and look at some pictures or some examples of the color scheme, and maybe you want to pick a color scheme when you actually do your Hawaiian shirt design, because you might want to do it realistically, but you might also want to do it a little more abstract with the color scheme. So check those out for a little bit, and then we'll talk about adding some color to this. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to pick an analogous color scheme, okay? So if I got my color wheel here, analogous are colors that are next to each other. So I'm going to go with yellow and green, and then maybe a little blue-green. So I've got like these 3 or 4 colors here. I might put blue in there, we'll see how it goes. These colors are next to each other on the color wheel, so these are the colors that I'm going to stick with when I do that. You might want to use one of your pieces of paper and just try some different color schemes out and see what they look like with all of the colors that you've chosen together, and see what different ways you can put those colors together to combine for your color scheme, okay? And so I've got the yellows, I've got 2 greens, okay? I've got the blue. I might end up wanting the dark blue a little bit later. We'll see how it goes. So the first thing that you're going to do is outline some of your shapes. So whichever color you choose for your outline on the shape, go ahead and stick with that color for the entire shape, okay? So if I outline the flower with blue, I'm going to go ahead and stick with that for all of the flowers on the shirt design, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and outline all of the flowers in blue, okay? And then if I decide to use green for the palm trees, then I'm going to go ahead and stick with green for all of the palm trees. Now this is one way to do this design, which is just to outline and then color in the shape solidly, okay? You could put more detail in if you want to, so you could end up doing all the palm trees more realistic, where you do them green on the top and brown on the bottom, and then you actually put details into the flower and have the center of the flower and show all the petals, okay? But if you do that, still stick to the idea that all of them are going to be the same. I mean, I guess I can't really stop you. If you want to make them all different, go for it, okay? I guess it's up to you how you add the color. So I'm going to finish outlining and start some coloring and show you that, and then we're going to finish up this video, and I'm going to let you finish coloring everything in. In the next video, I'm going to show you a few things to add a little bit of extra detail and finishing touches to the Hawaiian shirt design. Okay, so we're getting a little bit farther here, and remember the idea of pressure and texture and layers, okay? So how hard you press on your crayon can make the color lighter or darker. Okay, how you move it around, okay, can change the texture. Okay, so if I do this kind of scribbly texture, I have this sort of scribbly looking texture in there. Okay, and then layers. It's not impossible to layer, okay, more than one color together. So maybe I'll add a little bit of the blue green into the light green and have a layer of textures as well. So you can combine those ideas, and there's really almost an infinite number of ways to combine the idea of pressure and texture and layers to create some interesting effects with the way that you add color to a picture. Okay, so don't be stuck with the idea that, hey, I just have to color this in and get it done. Okay, the idea of making an artwork is not just to get done, but to make something really cool that people enjoy looking at. Okay, so it's not something that has to just be gotten done and out of the way. Okay, so spend a little time thinking about how you can use that idea of pressure and texture and layers. Okay, so you definitely want to color in all of the shapes. Okay, I suppose you could leave one white or something if you color in the background. So I think that I could leave this white. I might actually take the cerulean here, which is a little bit lighter blue, and lightly put in some color into the background. So we'll see how I feel about it. This video is already over 16 minutes, so let's just call it good for today. And we will come back next time and talk about adding some extra details to turn this into less of a t-shirt and more of an actual button-up Hawaiian shirt. Alright, for now, thanks for working with us. Have a nice day. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.